Hi, my name is Michael, and I'm going to give you a demonstration of my smart office system that I developed. So, for this assignment, my task was to design and develop a facial recognition system for employee access control in an office. So, for my implementation, I decided to use MTCNN for image capturing, FaceNet 512 for capturing facial embeddings, an SQLite database for storing those embeddings along with any personal information about the user, and then Streamlit for the front end as it was easy to integrate together and easy to use. So I also chose FaceNet 512 specifically for its higher dimensional accuracy over the standard 128 dimensional model. So now onto the demonstration. Okay, so first off, I'm going to demonstrate the standard recognition. So as you can see is my code. And now if I run this, just with Streamlit run app.py, it will open up my application. And as you can see, it's got a sidebar that has various features. So in the modes, I've got the live recognition where the live monitoring will be. I've got enroll staff here and when I have the facial embeddings, I'll be able to add the first name, last name, and an optional image of the person and then save it. And then I have a database view here. Just delete that for demonstration. And then I have so you'll be able to connect a external webcam, and then you just add the IP address or URL here. And then I've got the threshold. So for now, for this demonstration, I'm going to put it on max. And then I have a recent identities feature, which will capture a screenshot of the most recent person that's been in the camera's view. But just for facial recognition, my face is already stored in the database. So if I turn this on, as you can see, it detects my face with a green box. And then on the left here, you've got the recent identities box that shows a screenshot of me, my name, and then a timestamp of what time that the screenshot was taken. So as you can see, it's detecting me right here. So in my code, as you can see, if I go to app, I have the sidebar just here. So here is where I set the threshold. It starts at 0.7, which I identified as the optimal threshold. And then here is where the recent identifier is stored. So it just gets the state and then recent display. Now I have a placeholder image, and then it stores that in the image variable where I can extract the first name, last name, and any other details, just like that. And then in the main section here, so I start the session as live recognition. And then I check to see if the live monitor box was checked. If it is, then I start the camera and facial embeddings, and then while it's running, it checks if the session is successful. And then if I scroll down a bit more, as you can see, I'm doing 10 frames. That's just so it can capture me easily, and then here I get all the facial embeddings, but I'll explain that later. Okay, so now I'll demonstrate the unauthorized access part of it. So I'm using an image of my friend. I did get permission for this. So here I've got a friend. If I just hold it up, as you can see, it categorizes them as unknown because it doesn't recognize them. Because as you can see, they're not stored in the database. However, if I start the monitor again, hold up their faces in front, make sure it's capturing all of them, and then I click capture and enroll. As you can see, it's now has got their facial embedding, and then I can add their name. I won't set an image. and then I save records. So now he should be stored in the database with the facial embeddings. So now if I go back to the live recognition, and I start the monitor again, as you can see, it detects my face as normal. But then now when I hold up the image, which is a low lighting, it's a bit difficult. But you can see slightly that it is actually capturing the face there as Aston. So the facial embeddings is recognized there as well. Okay, so now I will go more in depth into the code. So first off, I've got my requirements.txt file that will handle all the installations. So I use Streamlit, OpenCV, NumPy, Pandas, DeepPhase, TensorFlow Keras, MTCNN, and Matplotlib. So here's my database. I import the SQLite free import, and then here I actually create the database. So it has the first name, last name, embeddings as an array, image as a blob, and then date added as a timestamp. And then here I have three functions that handles, for now, three of the CRUD. So I've got add staff. So it adds their first name, last name, vector, and image. And here's the SQL for that. And then have get all staff. So this gets all the users in the database. And there's the code for that. And then delete star. So this would delete a specific user from the database, as you can see. And then I have the processor.py. And this basically handles everything to do with embeddings and images, any pre-processing as well. So I have the normalization function, even though in app I normalize without using this function, but that's just there just in case. And I have the function here to instruct the embeddings. So it resizes it, it crops it, and then I use DeepFace to get the embeddings. As you can see, I'm calling the model FaceNet 512, and then I don't enforce detection. And then here I've got a boost lighting, so it just does various pre-processing on the image to get better results. Here I have a get face data multiple angles, so it makes sure that if I turn my face, it will still detect me and know that it's me, basically. And then here another get all faces function. It gets a single frame and cascades it. I have a duplicate, so I had this issue where it was drawing multiple boxes. You may have seen a lot of multiple boxes in places where faces were not there. So I got this function that should cleared up that, and now there's minimal errors there. And then I have rotate image, so that it can detect me even if I'm at an angle or anything like that. And then back to app, I explained the sidebar and main section, but just to highlight here, all my imports from my database and processor, and then all the sessions that I'll call for the different pages. Here I connect my database, and then as I said, this was the main page that I discussed. I also have a performance metrics part here in the main. So as you can see in my terminal, as it's running, it's printing a lot of different speed metrics and everything like that, and facial capturing data, everything. And then this is the logic to handle the box around the face. So it gets the X, Y, and the width and height of the person and gets the coordinates of that. And then it creates a rectangle using OpenCV with those coordinates around the face. And then for the enroll staff, it's pretty simple. So you set the session to enroll staff, and then I get the first name from text import, last name, and an image as a file upload. And then I have a save button that will save it, that will call the add staff function from the database and then store that in the database. And then here's my database logic. So I set the session to database view, and then it just displays a table with relevant information. I store them in R0 to R4 for the first name, last name, vector, image, and date, time. And then it stores it in a table, as you can see here. And then I have a delete button